I think the last time I went outside was on Friday. Today is Tuesday. I am so excited to be getting a walk and some sun. The sun I love because it's just really so warm. So like I wasn't even thinking about like getting toasty or anything. I'm just only thinking about just like the warmth of it. I'm dreading the coming months because it's just going to be so cold. And I remember how cold last winters were. Although it doesn't really get cold until January and February, I'm still dreading it. Today is Tuesday. There's nobody. Well, there's a lot of people outside. Yeah, there's just nobody on the side of the sidewalk. But yeah, we're going to Wendy's. We're gonna get a free Dave's single. The reason that Dave's single is different is because it's a 1/4 pound of beef, and the other ones have the smaller sandwiches that cost less have different amounts of beef. The Baconator has 2 slices of beef that weigh just like a little tiny bit less than the total of the Dave single beef, but the Baconator to me is like, hello, the Baconator has bacon in it, so that's like a whole bunch of protein in its entirety. So I think I still will love a son of Baconator, but it's just free today, so I'm just getting it with a Frosty. I'm also gonna get some water. Ran out of water. Excited to get this water. Bot is botting. There's just some hair in my face that's really bothering me. Both my eyes are watering. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys this story. So, I'm gonna tell you guys this story. So basically, I have a belief that one of my uncles that passed away is like haunting me. So it first happened in 2023, and my dad gifted me this keyboard. I gave it back to him though. He gifted me this keyboard, and it's like a piano but like electric. And I kept the guitar and the mixer and the drum machine and the equalizer though. And the mic. I love those things. But I wasn't really feeling the piano, but he did try to make me go to piano lessons when I was little, 11, and I liked it. He was with me during the lessons as well. So it was really cool, but he gifted me this piano, and then one day I had a nightmare, and I dreamt that like it was just like dark. I was in my apartment, and I just dreamt that like I couldn't move. It was like a paralysis, but it was in a dream, so it was not sleep paralysis. I understand some people have sleep paralysis. It's kind of like you cannot move in real life. That's scary. I can't imagine that. But I was dreaming, and I'm trying to move, and I can't. And I hear like this bumbling, like a bee, like behind my neck. And then all of a sudden, just snap out of it, and I just wake up. And I'm just very intuitive, and I'm like, I just had a feeling. I'm like, I think my uncle was like haunting me. I felt like it was him, like his spirit in my apartment. And it's really bad for me. Okay, for me, everybody on the internet, they love whenever they see their ancestors and they love getting signs from them, but not me. I actually dread. I never want to see them. I never want to hear from them. I don't want any signs from them. I don't want to dream about them. I don't want to see them. And all my ancestors, you guys could just all stay where you are. I don't need protection. I don't need help. I don't need signs. They scare the fuck out of me. And so I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I think like the ghost of my uncle is like, which is like his brother, is like in my apartment, like the one I live in right now in 2023. And he told me like, you know, don't worry, like don't get scared, like it's not true. These are just like nightmares. They don't mean anything. Stuff like that. But I was just kind of like thinking, because I was like, I feel like because my uncle's piano is in my apartment. So, okay, so my uncle, when he was alive, and my dad, they bought the same piano. But when my uncle passed away, my dad got both pianos. So now he has both pianos because he had his and now his brother's. I got gifted one of the pianos. I gave it back though. And I thought that maybe I got my uncle's piano. That shit was definitely haunted. As I know, like, how do you know? How do I know out of all the people that died for me? Like, I didn't think it was Cookie. I didn't think it was one of my grandmas. I didn't think it was anyone. I knew exactly who it was. Because I could feel like the vibe.
Like I'm the guy that has to touch the goddamn board. Yeah, no, I walked everything. Just make sure everything's...
So years have passed. Then I had a nightmare. And it was like so different. And last week I had a nightmare. And I was like... I've told you guys that in my dreams I usually running away from like robbers. They never catch me, but I'm like running in between all the blocks, like running far away. I'm also like trying to outsmart them, and like when I'm in the house, I'm like trying to outsmart them in my dreams, and then I like run away, and so I run away, and I always get away. I just wake up and I'm just running, you know, but I just keep running forever. And so in my other dreams that are like the paralyzing dreams, it started, I don't have sleep paralysis, but in my dream I can't move. So it started when I was 5 years old. I had a nightmare. I was 5 years old and I had a nightmare that the shelf above my bed is like glass and you could see through it. Oh my god. The shelf above my bed, it's glass, and it's you can see through it. Like my parents did that. I still have those in my room right now. It's my parents' style. They invented it. It's basically a glass shelf, and they put it really high. So, and then my mom would decorate it with all of our dolls, our little perfume bottles and stuff like that. And like, so you look up and you see all the dolls. It's so beautiful. And then my dad built a shelf all around the perimeter of one of our childhood rooms. And my mom would put all of our little porcelain dolls. Back then, those dolls were not creepy, but with modern horror stories, they are creepy. All right, so then, so I had a nightmare last week. And it was when I was vlogging to you guys a lot and telling you, like, you know, if anybody attacks me from now on, I'm gonna fight back and kick them in the balls. I'm not gonna freeze like I did the first time. I'm just gonna really fight for my life and kick them in the face and the balls and everything. And I was like, because I really meant that in my so it shifted into my subconscious, and for the first time ever, when I had one of those frozen dreams of just being so scared, like how it feels for me in those dreams is like I'm like trying to move, I can't, trying to scream. Oh my god, I'm always trying to scream. I'm always trying to say, Dad, Dad, help me, Dad. Always only screaming for my dad. And even the one I had last week, I was screaming for my dad. And the one when I was a little girl, I was 5 years old, I dreamt that a skull had a knife and a fork. It had those butter knives that my parents had all throughout our childhood. I still have one in my apartment from my dad. It's like a silverware butter knife. We had them always through our childhood. And it jumped, it was just a skull. Has no hands or nothing. A floating knife and a fork. Jumped down and started probably like sawing my neck, and I started screaming. And in real life, I woke up, I was 5 years old, I started screaming like, Dad, 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 there's a skull, whatever. My parents let me sleep with them for the rest of the night, but my dad, when he ran in my room, he was like, there's nothing here, don't worry, it's not scary or whatever. That was my first nightmare that I remember of my life. Not shortly after, when I was like less than 10, I had another nightmare. We lived in now a different apartment, and I dreamt that the Grim Reaper was like at the front apartment door, like outside, like at the stoops, like outside, like flying in through all the doors. I could see him coming. And then he goes into my apartment, my parents' apartment, and like he goes through, like, I don't know how he all of a sudden he's in the back 2 rooms, which are the 2 bedrooms, and I'm hiding next to my mom's sewing machine, and he just slaughters my whole family and just leaves me. Like, that's my dream. I was like less than 10 years old. Also really scary. So those are the 2 dreams I had. Ears are perfectly in time for spooky season, and my little spooky season shirt, and I watched Wednesday yesterday, so I feel perfect. So last week when I had the nightmare, I've had a lot of these nightmares throughout my life. It's basically, it's dark, I'm trying to run away, but I can't move in the dream, and I'm just frozen there, and I'm trying to move and I can't, and in the dream, and I'm just yelling for my dad and screaming for my dad to help me, and then I just wake up and my heart is racing. This time last week, I had the nightmare. It was so real. It was like I was in my room sleeping. It was like so real. Like the room was dark. It's just exactly like my room. The guy, he was like, you a model or something? But I took off the camera right when he said it, so I turned it right back on when I came in here, so you'll leave me alone. Cheers, brought to you by Cute Doll. Let me just quickly take a picture with this. All the more so I can eat you with, because literally that's all I want to do is just eat this. That's why I'm taking this picture. I'm gonna eat it over here. Oh yeah, okay, so when she gave me the burger, she said, single? Oh, indeed, yes, single. And she knew it was me. I don't know how. For everyone else, they're calling like numbers and stuff. I didn't get a receipt, I didn't get a number. I obviously used my rewards, and it says Cute Doll, so I got my single. So what I did was, my Wendy's app gave me a free day of single with purchase. So I purchased a half chocolate, half vanilla Frosty, and then I get the burger for free. I'll let you into my secrets. But yeah, right when I walked in that door, the guy was like, you a model or something? Really loud, with like carrying like some kind of FedEx box, but he doesn't work for FedEx, because he's just wearing like a sweatshirt, and he was creepy. And I wish my camera was on so I could add it to my footage, but I don't know why I took my camera off right when I started at the door, and then right when I turned the camera back on, he just stopped talking, and I went into Wendy's. Yeah. Let's try to take the photo again. Hey guys, we're just having this. It's the first thing I have all day, and it's so good. So delicious. Oh. Taking in the sun is so good. Sun is scorching hot, really good. Ah, that's so nice. The reason why I don't want the spirits to come is because they're literally coming to take one of our lives. Like, they're not happy that they're dead. They want us to go with them. And I have a lot of proof about this. playing my cheerleading song right now. I'm waiting for the Uber Eats guy to go to make his delivery. One hour later. Ugh, he's so fucking slow. Okay, yeah, you just hear him. He's like, nice. Anyways, this is my burger. I'm gonna take a picture with it. For you, so it tastes so much better. It does say Takis Fuego chicken on it. It says do not microwave. This is a Dave single. So exciting. So, oh yeah, when I was at Wendy's, I don't know how, but both of those, that guy and the girl was there. Tuesdays are busy at Wendy's. I don't know, but usually, like, there's only usually one of them there that's like running the whole thing. So the girl who told me that she always says I can't use my rewards. She was there, and also my favorite guy was there. He was still angry and pissed off. He took my order, and the lady was in the back. She's just looking at me while prepping orders. Guys, I'm telling you, she fucking hates me. She's just looking at me. And then like one time I was like holding my like Frosty or whatever like on the desk, and she just like looking at me like up and down, like checking me out. And then she was like making her burgers. I saw her put like nuggets into the deep fry. So yeah, why get chicken from Wendy's if the beef is fresh? Also, why do that if the beef is fresh? And then also, why do people not eat beef? It's so delicious. It's even against my religion, but like literally, not figuratively, I still eat it. And I can't even say like that my whole family does, because I think like my little sister is vegan and my mom is vegetarian, so. The beef is the only thing that brings me back to life, really. Yo, it's so hot, guys. What the fuck? This is so delicious, guys. It's called a Dave's single. I love that Wendy's adopted like the Wednesday specials along with like their Friday free fries. Like McDonald's has that too, but because Wendy's sounds nothing like Wednesday, but they're doing it. They're doing Wednesday specials. They're collaborating with Wednesday, Netflix. They're doing it all. And she got the pigtails just like Wednesday Addams. Is just crazy. That collaboration is hot.
I should get into Wendy's stocks. It took like 1 hour to get out of here, the Uber Eats guy. I was just waiting for him to leave. Very filling, by the way. That's it? Okay, hi guys. Here. I just had to turn the camera on because people were just talking to me. This lady was like, hello, I love your outfit. But she's like one of those people that like stand and try to like give out the papers or make you do a survey or something. Oh man.
really still. I can't wait to stream today. Okay guys, make sure you get my favorite drink in my Amazon storefront. You're welcome. Okay, we're just having this. I don't know what happened to my thigh. It has like all these scratches all over. I don't know what happened. It's ghost. Just kidding. Oh, so good. Yeah, I got all these scratches, but they're all over my leg. It's completely wrecked by the weather right now. And it's just a regular nice summer day with light breeze. So pretty. Carrying this really heavy gallon of water, so this entire block is just all out of business, which is like so scary. That's so scary, like the entire block except one store. Guys, look at this cute little purse in the window. It's so tiny, like that's a belt and that's a purse. So cute. Guys, $84.99 for the fake one, so don't ever buy the fake one. Just buy the real one instead. School's literally out. There's literally all these kids. This reminds me of like when I used to get picked up by my mom for school. When my dad drove to see me on Saturday, he saw those little, oh yeah, already tired of it. There's a lot of little kids. He saw those Uber Eats little driver machines that I've been showing you guys. I wish I could show you, but there's this little kid standing next to it, talking to it, so yeah, he was so fascinated. I was like, yeah, they have those now. It's an Uber Eats delivery machine. I told him somebody's driving it, it has to be. And he was like, it has to be. Like someone controlling it, because there's no way, like. There's no way. And I'm gonna have to ChatGPT that when I get home. But it has to be controlled by somebody with a brain that's gonna stop their machine from accidentally making an accident. You know what I'm saying? It has to be controlled by a machine. It can't be just like navigated by GPS. It would just be like too dumb. These are not necessarily smarter. But this is so fallish. Hi guys, I just wanted to finish this story so that I could put up this video. So I'm gonna try to make it fast. So now when I had the nightmare last week, usually I just be frozen, can't yell for my dad no matter how hard I'm trying, and usually I'd be like totally just trying to move, but I can't in my dream. It's not sleep paralysis, it's like dream paralysis. And let me get some soda too while I'm here. Yeah, okay, so that would be it. But okay, so last week I had a nightmare. I was sleeping, and then I was awoke in my dream, and everything in my room, it just looked exactly the same. It looked so real, like the darkness amount was right. It just looked like it was like where I am. And I felt this hand grip behind my neck in my dream, and I was just like frozen there. And I was like, in my dream, I was like yelling like, Dad, Dad, help me, Dad, Dad, help me. And then I was like frozen, but it's the first time in my dreams I literally like struggled, like I try to like break out of the stillness that like how my body couldn't move, like I just felt like frozen, like it's so hard to describe. I just had like this paralysis, like just basically like you want to move but you can't. And all of those, the first time ever I broke free from the fright, and I just literally just could start like moving, like struggling like out to like escape the hand, and I literally just like woke up. And this time when I woke up, usually like my heart is pounding, my heart not pounding, my heart is like racing, and usually I'm like scared and it takes me like a second to realize, okay, that was just a dream. But this time when I woke up, I was like so different. I was like, I wasn't scared, my heart wasn't beating, I just woke up and I was like, it was just a dream. But like I just like have like transformed to like such a badass, like even like subconsciously. It's really cool. Finally, things changing in my dreams. Finally, it's been like years, like literally like 5 years old. Still having those kind of dreams all throughout my life, like up until 2023. And then now I'm like fighting to break free. I'm able to like scream and speak in my dreams now, and like I wake up and I'm not even scared. And it's just like, I just love it. And the final thing I do want to say about my family, I mean, like, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. So when my grandmother passed away, God rest her soul, I was in college and I was so shocked and sad. I had to come home from college in order to go to the funeral and everything, and it was the first big thing that ever happened. That was like a devastating thing in my life. And shortly after, I don't even know if it was shortly, like months after, could have been years after, but very, like, I think like months to a year after, I started having nightmares about my grandmother. So I had 2 nightmares about her. And one of them was like, she's like really tall. She's like 5'9" or taller. And she has like very dark complexion, darker than me. And my youngest sister also has this complexion. It's very beautiful. Like they're very beautiful. But like she had like black hair. It wasn't like gray yet, and it was like in like these like perfect like curls. And she looked like something like straight out of like the Nun movie. She was like tall. She wore her long pleated skirts and a white blouse, and then her face just turned scary. And yeah, she scared the fuck out of me. And I woke up and I was like terrified, and I told my mom like the next day. I was like, hey, I had this nightmare about her. And then my mom would like say like, yeah, okay, well, your grandmother is like, they call it like playing. They say like your grandma's like playing with you or whatever. Like it doesn't mean like, you know, like, oh, we're having fun. It's kind of like a haunting kind of. And I was like really scared. And then I had another nightmare with her. I don't remember it though. And it's really scary because, you know, grandmas, like they're just like nice little sweet creatures. Like you think of them as like somebody that's like, you know, really like, you know, bake you cookies or whatever. And my grandma was actually nice to me, but I saw her be mean to like some of my cousins and stuff. So even though I got like the special treatment, like every time she saw me, she was like, Felicia, blah, 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 do good in school, stuff like that. Like Felicia's like my house name. But then I saw her like say something mean to one of my girl cousins, and I felt really bad because the girl cousin she was mean to, it was like, the girl cousin is 2 years younger than me. She went to school, same class as my little sister. She's actually smarter than me. And I just felt like really bad. Although I didn't have much interaction with her, I just know from like all the family stories, I just know like perhaps maybe she made like a lot of strategic decisions and things like that, and things that like involve obviously finances and things like that, that some people just weren't like happy about. And then I just hear like all these stories about her. I don't know anything about her, but I just always, as like a little kid, I just have like this knowing that maybe she's evil, not really like grandma material. And you know, obviously I hate to make this video because that's my mom on my dad's side, and he's always gonna love his mom, but like I could see through people. And so she did like haunt me a little. And then, so you probably wonder like, why do these people who don't even know me, like my uncle and my grandma, would be haunting me? That's a really good question. Okay, the next time they haunted me was, I had like a near-death experience twice, but the second time I had one, and by the way, when you have NDEs, near-death experiences, all that happens is like, you be very grateful for like a couple weeks, and once like 2 weeks, 3 weeks has passed, 1 month, you're completely back to normal, and you just start taking life for granted again, and you just start going on your day, not even remembering how it feels that you almost lost everything that like is in your whole life. For both of mine, they were like not my fault. And also for NDE, so because of that experience and because like how I am to like analyzing myself, I realized that like humans, I think we're pre-programmed to not worry about things like death and the end and stuff like that, because it increases our chances of survival. But you know, I do think of like my entire life as a whole lifespan all the time, and I always think like what content I'm leaving behind when I go, and all these kind of things, like always making sure everything on the internet looks like how I want it to look like before I go, because once I'm gone I can't change anything. And I've said this before in my podcast, but a lot of other people, like, they don't think about it. But when you have an NDE and it was just so close, like, you just always think about it, and you wake up the next day and you're like, I'm alive, and you're just like taking every single day like so with so much gratefulness. But then unfortunately, like humans, we just like start taking it for granted again, just naturally. Like even me, like I just, you know, you just take it for so much granted, like, and it's just so sad to me, because I just feel like it's such a waste. And like I don't know why humans are programmed like that, but they just don't even think about it at all, when it could happen at any time. There's obvious reasons why we don't think about it all the time, because if you just sit around just worrying about that all the time, you just waste your whole life. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that. So when I did have my second near-death experience, I lived in a different apartment, and I dreamt that in my stream room, it was like all set up like as a funeral. So in like Jandi, like prayers and also like church and everything, and also funerals, we like spread white sheets all over the floor. And everybody, for funerals, we all wear, like all the people who are doing the funeral work, is called, it's like literally we literally sit around the fire and like put stuff in the fire and like say prayers and sing songs and pray for like the soul to leave like this earth and like go to heaven like safely, so that they can like move on. And the people who are doing the work, they always wear all white. So I had a dream like right before my near-death experience. The year was like 2021. I had a dream that like in my stream room of my old apartment was all white sheets on the floor, and standing there was my grandmother and my same uncle, the one I keep having is haunting me. And I also believe also my aunt was there. These are all people that have passed away, and they were standing there, and it was like they were at my funeral. And I woke up like crying and screaming, and like not screaming but crying maybe, and scared. And then so I called my dad, and I was crying. And actually I think he came to visit me, and I was crying, and I was telling him about the nightmare, and then I couldn't even say it. He was like, what did you dream? Tell me, like, you know, just say it, whatever. And then he just started guessing, and I was like, no, it's not that. I was like, I dreamt that it was like my funeral. And then it was really scary, because when you dream of them, it's like they're coming to take you. And it was really scary to me. It was like one of the most scariest things I ever dreamt. because when it happens to you, it just feels so close. It's like, so then also my dad has also shared with me that he would dream that he's like playing with like, you know, them, and they're already gone, and he's like running around, and they're like, you know, like having fun, and like there's like this huge place, and he's like running around and playing with them. And I know what he means, because I always have dreams about Cookie, who passed away, one of my ex-boyfriends, and I always dream that I'm on like a full-fledged date with him. And for like the first couple dreams, I would be like, Cookie, you know you're not like alive anymore, right? You're not here, and like you don't know what happened. And then I would like wake up, and then one time like I felt like him like shake me on the shoulder like while I was in bed. That was the scariest, and that was the only time I felt like a ghost in my room, like standing by my bed. Also, my Discord was on, and two of my friends were in there because I couldn't sleep, and they told me I was like sleep talking to myself, and they thought I was on the phone. And so they told me that when I woke up. Then also with the Cookie thing, my dreams started transforming, that I started like just going on dates with him, and I didn't know that he passed away. And then so I had like a couple of each kind of dream, and then finally the final state is like my last dream with him was so cool. I dreamt that I was hanging out with him, and then like his brothers too, and everybody, like I didn't hang out with his brothers were just there. I was hanging out with him. And then he was like, his brother told me like, yeah, he didn't die, he's just right here. And then I spent the whole dream with him just hanging out. It was just so sad. When I woke up, like, it's just so sad. It's so sad. But yeah, so I don't know if that's just like my different stages of grieving or whatever for that Cookie dreams. But in the beginning, I used to really like feel his spirit, and I used to like tell his like brother. But then I just stopped doing that because like, and then I started getting like religious signs and stuff, and my mom would look it up and tell me what it means. And then I told his brother, and then he said that actually aligns with like their religion too, and they suspected something like that too, so they just did additional prayers in the church. But I stopped like obviously doing that because like everyone, like his family is just trying to move on. And then every single time I talk about it, I feel like I'm opening the wound, whatever. I stopped messaging about it, whatever. But after those couple times that it just happened, like I get all the signs and the dreams, and I felt like I was closer to Cookie, even though like I'm all the way on the East Coast and he lives on the West Coast, and I still felt like his spirit was coming to me. And I know that sounds so weird, because, you know, I don't even think he likes me. But then his family did say, like, yes, you were, like, his last, like, girlfriend or whatever. But that's not what he told me the last time I spoke to him. And then also, like, he told me he liked somebody else at work. That's the last thing he told me. And then I just left him alone, because if someone doesn't like me, then I just wouldn't go after them. And then, so, for him was hard for me to even believe that like his ghost would come to me or whatever. Even more hard for me to believe that like these grandma and uncle are coming to me. I always told my aunt to like never come to me, like, you know, after she passed away. I just told her like her spirit, like, you know, please don't ever like show yourself to me or come to me or give me signs. I'll be really scared. So I never seen her. Oh, thank God. She loved me so much, and like, yeah, thank God. Because it's like really scary. It's not as like, I don't want it. So the reason why I think that the uncle came to me is because like the piano was placed in my apartment, and like I also believe his spirit followed my dad to like where I live, and then just stay here, because I can like feel and see like ghosts. Like, I don't want to. I don't think it's cool or nothing like that. In fact, I try my best to stay away from that kind of stuff, because in American culture, like, you're considered like crazy if you're like seeing any ghosts or having signs and stuff like that. But like in like Guyanese culture, in Guyana, like it's very well known, like, yes, of course there are spirits, there are ghosts, there's church, there's God, there's you know, like evil, and there's evil eye, there's bad eye, and there's all these things, and everybody knows it. Like my mom is psychic, and so is my aunt, my mom's sister. So like they literally are functional, fully functional, intuitive, and like clairvoyant psychics. And they see, like my mom, she always, when I was growing up, she'd always be like crying sometimes, and then she would be like, just got off the phone and she find out like somebody passed away, and she would tell me like, yeah, she just dreamt that was gonna happen. And I was like, oh my god, that's just like so scary. That's why I'm telling all these stories now, because I don't want them to take anyone in my family. Definitely don't take me, don't take my dad, don't take anyone. So the reason why this all connects is because you think it's like, oh, cute doll, like, okay. So you dreamt that your uncle is haunting you in 2023, right? Then you dream that he's haunting you again. I dreamt of him last week. Had the nightmare with the hand gripping behind my neck, and I was just screaming for my dad. Finally breaking free. Finally my voice lets out and I'm able to scream, and I'm able to like struggle out of the hand and move out of the hand in my dream. And then I wake up. And when I wake up, my heart is not racing or anything. I'm not scared at all. I'm just like, okay, that was just a dream. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. But then, so what happened was, so then my dad comes to visit me on Saturday, and I didn't know he was gonna come visit me yet, like when I had this nightmare about my uncle. So when he comes to visit me, he was like talking to me. He's like, you won't believe who I'm hanging out with. And then he says the name of the son of the uncle that passed away. And yeah. So on Saturday, when I see my dad again, I'm gonna have to break it to him that I'm not gonna, the only reason I told you guys about the dream is because I'm not gonna tell my dad about my dream. Only my mom would believe me. My dad would just think it's crazy. Even though he knows himself, like he's born in Guyana, he knows that the ghosts are real. He knows the spirits are real. He knows like when the women are like having the psychic that is real. He just never admits it. So I'm not gonna tell him about like that I had a dream again, because I told him in 2023. He just told me to brush it off. And then he didn't say brush it off, but he's like, just don't worry about that, it's not real, you know? So I'm not gonna tell him about the dream because it just makes me sound crazy, but I just want to tell you guys about the dream because now it all makes sense. Like, why did I dream about that uncle? It's like a warning, basically. So my cousin, a long time ago, when that uncle passed away, when his father passed away, it was kind of weird. We just had this group, it's called the Bubble, which is like all of the cousins, 6 of us, but then we just decided to add him in because he's like the 7th. He's not really part of the bubble though. So we all decided to like hang out, even though like someone just passed away. I know that's really weird. So we all just like hang out in this apartment. And during that meeting, I remember my cousin saying something really mean. And then it was so weird because then like all of a sudden now I had like a nightmare about his dad who passed away, like haunting me, right? And then all of a sudden on Saturday, my dad's like, hey, guess what? I'm hanging out with so-and-so, which is like the son of the person who's passed away. Basically, all these people are evil, including my dad. My dad is evil too, but you know, I just really have a lot of sympathy for him and I love him a lot. So, you know, So when my dad told me that, I didn't think anything of it because I actually forgot the old memory. And then all of a sudden, like while my dad was driving to see me, he puts me in a 3-way call with that cousin. And when the cousin talked to me, it was so weird because I was like trying to like pick up like, is this person genuinely for me, you know? So I'm listening to my dad, I'm listening to my cousin talk to me. He goes, oh, Felicia, it's so nice to hear your voice. And I was like, okay, all right. And he's like being really nice to me. And he's like, yeah, I can't wait to hang out, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm gonna pick you up, blah, 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 blah. And then, so he gets off of the three-way call, and it's just me and my dad were just talking. And then my dad comes over to my apartment. He gives me food. He brought food for me, beef curry. And then he starts talking to me, and he was like, yeah, I've been hanging out with him, blah, blah, blah. And I still didn't think anything of it. Then as soon as my dad leaves my apartment, I talked to my dad for a long time on the phone, all the way until he drives home. I just love doing that. I love talking to my dad, I just never want to say bye. And then all of a sudden, I get a flashback of a memory, which I know sounds so unreliable since memories is like, oh, how could you remember that? Why didn't you remember that before? How is it reliable? I know all my memories are 1,000,000% reliable. Like, I remember specific events because I have semantic memory. I remember everything like it's an event. So when that happened, it was like really long ago. Like really long ago, guys. Like 2019. You know, really long ago. Really, really long. No, I had blonde hair. It was 2017. I'm telling you, this was so long ago. Like 2017, guys. So, so when that happened, I was like, it was 2017 that like all the funeral, everything happened. And then so what happened was so we went to the gathering in the apartment, and he said something really mean to me. But it was 2017. I was very nice and naive. For me, it took me like 10 years to realize something later. So it was just because I was like so pure, and I wouldn't think that like my own cousin would be trying to cause me harm or anything. He said something really mean to me, and I literally was like, I didn't say anything. I didn't think anything. I couldn't think anything mean to say because I was like still processing it. And literally I had like blonde hair, makeup, fake eyelashes. Like I looked so pretty, fake nails, like a full evil Barbie doll glam. And I didn't realize, but it was at that point, that day, that moment. I'm not saying that my cousin was always jealous of me, but he was jealous of me at that point because I still had my dad, and he just lost his dad. And he said something really hurtful to me, but it didn't hurt me because I was like too dumb to understand what he was saying, even though he was very direct. That's how like if anybody really ever experienced like gaslighting or mean comments or bullying, it's like it kind of leaves you in shock because you just can't really believe somebody just said that, but it just goes over your head because you're like, oh, like, you know, we're here chilling, like this can't be right. So years later now, how many years is that? And it's always funny that I know what year it is just based on my memory of my hair color. So now I found out he's just hanging out with my dad like 8 years later. And so dad tells me all that stuff, like, oh yeah, we're hanging out, we're having fun, whatever. And then like, so my dad comes see me on Saturday. He already left and drove home. I finished talking to him on the phone while he drove home. And then all of a sudden I have a flashback. I remember that night in 2017 when my cousin said that mean thing to me. And I was like, oh my God, like I have to tell my dad, like, because this is what's gonna happen. So usually what's gonna happen is, then I started reanalyzing everything. I was like, okay, when he was on the phone, he sounded genuine to me. That night, and the 2017 night, that he said the mean thing, he was jealous of me. And then, because I still had my father. And then, on the phone, he was genuine, like genuinely nice. Like, hi, yeah, it's so nice to hear your voice. Like, very genuinely nice. And then for one day, he saw my computer setup and he was like, wow, Felly, this is amazing. Like, and that was genuine niceness. So it's kind of hard for me to tell if this is an enemy, because he's been nice. And when he's nice, I don't feel any suspicion in my senses. So it was kind of funny because when he was on the phone with me on the three-way call on Saturday, I really listened a lot and I was really analyzing it. Like, I'm testing him, and then he knows, because he knows that like our family are psychic and stuff like that. Like his mom's a little bit too, I believe. And then also, so he knows like I'm gonna be on my guard. So he wanted to kind of like pass the test. But then I had the flashback and remembering what he said. So when my dad comes to visit me on Saturday, I'm gonna say, hey Dad, like I know that you guys have a good relationship and everything, but I wanna let you know that he said this in 2017 after his dad died. He said this to me and I didn't know what to, I was so in shock. I blocked it out. Like I just didn't even say anything back. Like I didn't even analyze it. I didn't even look into it. I didn't even fight back. I didn't say anything. And then when my dad hangs out with him again, my dad, he's smart. My dad is smart enough to know like he's gonna start reanalyzing the situation with the new information. So he's gonna kind of start to see now any red flags that he may have missed when hanging out with that. Like if my cousin has that opinion, then, and that, if he has that opinion and that belief, then why is he hanging out with my dad? I know that cousin is jealous of me because I still have my parents, but also because I was like babied throughout my life, and he's just so jealous that like I'm just so entitled. That's why in 2017 when he dissed me, well, he didn't diss me. Like he said whatever he said, and then when he said it, like he was so shocked that I had no reaction, because that is not even in my beliefs. You know, that's not even in my like realm of beliefs. He's just wishing ill will upon me and my family, and I didn't know what to. I couldn't even process it because it was such a hateful piece. But I am gonna tell my dad what was said. I'm not gonna tell my dad about the dreams, but isn't that funny? All of a sudden, I dream about my uncle haunting me. Then later on, I plan to have my dad visit me on a Saturday. Then my dad reveals that he's hanging out with the son of the uncle who passed away, who's my cousin. Then I don't even remember it, but I'm still like testing him to see like, is this person good? Because he's hanging around my dad, so I want to make sure like this is a good person. And so then I was like testing him, listening to everything he's saying, like trying to see if I feel anything. And then all of a sudden I have a flashback of the very bad memory from 2017, him wishing ill will on my family. And I was like, yo, I gotta tell my dad that, because that is like the deeply seated evil that is within him and his intentions, and it's gonna come to the surface. And you know, usually when you start hanging out with somebody, you just like no red flags, you just think that they're good, blah blah blah, but you start to see it, because whenever I tell my dad, like my dad and me, we always just piece little puzzles together all the time. I always tell him, well, this happened. And he goes, oh, no way, because then this happened. And we just like figure it out. We're like detectives. And it's really funny because now that I tell him that, it's going to come together for my dad, because he's so smart. He's going to be like, oh, well, actually, he did say this. Like, in 2017 too, you know, and then he starts bringing out his own stories. So I just like really like, I know people are jealous, like for this particular situation, he's just jealous of that I have a dad, and he's just like, at first I was kind of like irked. I don't even know if that's the right word. I was just kind of puzzled, like, why is this person hanging out with my father? And then I was like, you know, it's like he's trying to take something from me, like, you know what I mean? But then I started looking into it more when I started remembering, and I had the flashback of 8 years ago. And I started remembering, like, oh, well, this person's actually not a good person. I have to tell my dad to stay away from him because this is what he revealed. If he revealed that 8 years ago, that means his intentions of whatever he's doing now is not pure. It means that he's trying to take us out. So basically, I do have to tell my dad that, so I'll tell him that when I see him on Saturday. Hopefully, you know, it's not too late by then. And yeah, so that's like really, I really do come from like an evil family. My mom's side is really angelic, and my dad's side is very corrupt and evil. There's a lot of drama. There's always family drama. There's a lot of problems, and it's all on my dad's side. So I'm sure he wouldn't be surprised at all, but I gotta tell him exactly what I remember, because that was something that was told to me like when I was completely innocent, and he thought he was smart enough to get away with it and try to break me mentally. And then it turns out like 8 years later, he's still trying to hunt my family. And yeah, so I'm gonna just tell my dad that little piece of information and just let him handle it. Let him, because what's gonna happen is, now that I give him the new information, he's gonna reprocess it, reincorporate, just like how I think things all the way through over and over again. And then he's gonna be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Oh, this is why this is happening. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do this because of this. And then he's gonna realize like, yeah, that's not a good person. Unfortunately, throughout our lives, because my dad and me are just so different from the rest of the world, it's like really the only people that we could really trust is each other. And it's like, it's not really like that I don't want him to have like any friends or whatever, but it's like I'm the only one that really lasted the test of time. And yeah, I mean, I just really couldn't believe, because I told you guys in a previous podcast yesterday, people don't change. And that 8 years ago version of my cousin is still within him. But what scares me even more is knowing what I know from 8 years ago, what he said to me, and then knowing how I am now, knowing what I know now about how nice he is, I realized that, yeah, he's actually a very deceptive person. You always have to think about, what are people trying to gain? What are they trying to get from this? And for that question, my dad's gonna have to figure that out himself, but I'm gonna give him the information that I know. If that person said that 8 years ago, that is truly deeply embedded in their brain and their mind. That's just who they are. Why am I making this video? I really don't want to have to say I told you so at the end, but I'm literally the one who's receiving all the signs, all the nightmares, all of the premonitions, all the visions, all the flashbacks. I'm the one who has to read all the intuitive signs, piecing everything together, making sure that my dad doesn't get taken out by a noob, and just basically like trying to like protect my family. But it's just like really weird, because I'm protecting like my dad even though he's evil, and then I'm also evil. I'm half evil, and then like I know a lot of people, you just don't understand like what I'm saying at all, because I can't really say anything, because like because if I had to get into the story of my family, it's just such a long story. But I could never do that, honestly, because I don't even know all the stories. that would be like if my dad had a YouTube channel. That's what he should probably make it as. But the other thing about my dad is that he always misremembers and embellishes stories naturally because he's a narcissist. He's a real narcissist. Whenever I film him, he acts different than whenever the camera is off. He's a real narcissist. So yeah, guys, there's a lot I always have to deal with. My family is, and they all know it too, because every single time we get together, they always make jokes about us. They say like my last name plus family, and like our last name plus family. It's like my dad's side is like very corrupt. And like the thing is about them is like they all, like my cousin and my dad, like they all enjoy the corruption and the drama, and you know, I don't. But here I am, I'm pulled in between it because I'm like a psychic medium, and then also I have like the details of a clue that was left for me 8 years ago. Plus I've been dreaming that like my cousin's dad is haunting me, and then all of a sudden it turns out that all this time my cousin has been around my dad. Male cousin, by the way. So yeah. All I'm gonna do is just deliver the information. I just wanted to document it because it's what's been on my mind. I know like a lot of people won't be able to relate because everyone has like very normal family dynamics. I promise I have like the craziest family dynamics ever. Not proud of it, but I do love it though because I love them. You know, it's really hard to explain. But yeah, I know that you guys all have like your own different like kind of family dramas and dynamics, but my family, especially on my dad's side, they're very smart, and I got that brain too. They're very smart, so like they're strategic and smart. Well, this is very hard video for me to release, so I won't be releasing it, but I will be putting it as private, and if I do get the chance to release it due to relevance, I will release it and be like, guys, I have been saying that this is happening and this is gonna be approaching soon. I hope that, I always say this, I want to be wrong. I want to make sure nobody is hunting my family, especially my own family, hunting each other. And I also want to make sure that like you know, I want to make sure that I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I never have to release this video, but I just know, and I always hope I'm wrong. Hard video for me to make, honestly, but we'll just see what happens in the future episodes. I hope I never have to release this video. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope nothing else happens so I never have to release this video.